For you guys that have been following my journey, you know that I decided in 2025 to play a lot more matches, partially due to the fact that I have a new racket. I was excited to try it, and I discovered something quite unfortunate, and it is the fact that I'm not playing well. In fact, playing some of the worst tennis that I have in a very long time. And no, it's not due to the racket, because even when I play with the Babolat Pure Drive, I'm still having the same problems. And interestingly, some of these problems are actually on my serve, which always was my best shot. So in today's video, I'm going to take you through a regular serve practice of mine where I'm trying to solve some of my problems and where I'm trying to optimize my serve. Before we get started, I have my basket here, and I do recommend that you practice your serves and not just with a handful of balls. You need a basket. And a lot of you guys have been asking, Nick, does the Gamma affiliate link not work anymore? Yes, there was an interruption in the relationship between Intuitive Tennis and Gamma, but we're back in business. You can click the link in the description and get a discount on Gamma baskets, the best baskets ever. Let's now get into some of the trouble that I've been having on my serve. And again, I'm going to tell you that it has nothing to do with my racket situation. Yes, the Pure Drive does feel a little bit better on the serve, but I'm having the same type of problems on the Pure Drive that I'm having on the Shift. And for whatever reason, my rhythm has become a lot faster. My toss has gotten lower, and when I do a serve like that, it becomes a serve with less body involvement, and I lose accuracy, and most importantly, I lose power. So I've been trying really hard to take a little bit more time on my serve in general, but also to take more time to load up my body on the serve and slow down my rhythm a little bit on the bottom portion and toss that ball a lot higher. See, when I do that, the power just comes a lot more natural to me. And let me just show you a serve that I've been hitting a lot in matches, and it's something like this. See, it's a serve that is more dependent on the arm, and I don't have enough time to load up my body. And I miss this serve a tremendous amount, often into the net, interestingly, but not all the time. That's very much day dependent, but it doesn't feel good in my arm when I hit a serve like that. So on the other hand, when I take my time and when I let that ball go up a little bit higher, it feels a lot better. Let me show you another one. I'm going to throw it higher and let the loading come a little bit more gradually. I'm going to throw it higher and take my time. Yeah, that one felt the best so far. So that's something that I've been trying to do on my serve. That's how I used to serve. And it's a lot easier said than done, because in the middle of a match, it's so difficult to make changes. So there has to be a deliberate effort to make a change prior to every serve when things are not working, because you don't want to get into a situation where you're constantly thinking about technique when you're serving, because that can lead to your serve completely going away on you. So of course you do want to select a target. You want to select what type of serve that you're hitting. You want to maybe select whether you're going for an ace or you're just trying to place your serve. All that is something that has to be done prior to every serve. I'm more specifically talking about technical things. So when things are working, you shouldn't spend 1 second thinking about technical things, because that can ruin your serve. However, when things are not working, when you're missing serves, you have the advantage on the serve to make some adjustments. And in matches, I don't always make that adjustment because there are other things going on in my mind. That's the tough thing about match play. So this is going to be for sure a work in progress. Let me show you a couple more things that I'm working on. So sometimes I will toss the ball towards 1 o'clock and it's not 100% accurate. It will be sometimes even towards 2 o'clock. And when it comes to my loading position in the trophy phase, it's very different than when I toss at 12 o'clock. Let me show you. So this is a 1 o'clock toss. And now let me show you a 12 o'clock toss. So what happens to my serve when I toss more towards the right is that in the trophy phase, my upper body is straight and I don't bend my knees generally. We're going to get to that later. So when I toss the ball at 12 o'clock, naturally, because of that 12 o'clock location, I do bend back a little bit more than I normally do. And I do feel more body engagement on those type of serves. So as much as I like hitting from 1 to 2 o'clock, I gotta be able to toss that ball at 12, because then it's going to be a serve that has more body involvement, and I think there's going to be more power and more consistency. Okay guys, there are a couple more things that I'm working on, and let's start with my second serve. My second serve has always been weaker than my first serve, and I'm one of those players that has a big speed discrepancy between first and second serve. Now, I will sometimes go for my second serve and hit a slice. I will rarely hit my second serve flat, but when I hit it slice, then the speed discrepancy is not that big. But when I go for a true kick serve, it definitely could be better. And very similar to the first serve, sometimes the toss is just too low. I have to toss the ball a lot higher on my kick serve in order to get not only more kick but also more speed. Interestingly, when I toss the ball higher, I find that I do lose a little bit of control. So this is definitely something that I've been practicing for a while. Okay, that one felt better. I'm going to try one more, and I'm going to let that toss go up higher than I normally do. Yeah, I do get more inconsistent. I, interestingly, miss it into the net and long more when I toss it higher on that kick serve. So it's definitely something that I have to practice, but I for sure need more speed on my second serve. That one felt a lot better. And last but not least, let's get to the final problem on my serve. That's actually not really a problem. It's just that there's so many comments where you guys say, Nick, you don't use your legs on your serve. And I talked about this all the way back in 2022. And I do have knee problems, but I can bend lower. So let me show you. I'm going to bend lower on this serve, and you take a look. Let me try one more. I'm going to bend a lot lower than I normally do. All right, now I'm going to show you a serve where I bend the normal amount, not very much. Let me try one more. All right, I hit the cone, and I'm going to put that back because I'm going to do a cone practice next. But the interesting thing about the serve, and that's why the serve is a very complex stroke to analyze. Here's what happens when I bend lower on my serve. I get less power and less control. It's not necessarily because that's a bad thing to do necessarily, but in my case, I cannot get out of a lower knee bend because I'm weak. So I get less out of my serve, my timing is worse. Most importantly, I get less power. When I bend lower, I get more power, a more effortless feel when I bend my regular minimal amount. See, what you have to understand is that the power coming from the legs is one of the biggest myths when it comes to serving. I've done videos on this in the past, so I can serve extremely fast by not using my legs at all. Take a look. See, that's a pretty quick serve. How about kneeling down? I can still serve very fast, even from here. It's a quick serve, right? Now, I get up and do my regular serve. Now let's take a look here. I do get more speed when the whole body is involved, no doubt about it, but the percentages are small. So obviously, there are other parts of the body that are contributing to serve power way more than the legs itself. Does this mean that you shouldn't be using your legs? Not at all. You gotta load the serve the proper way, and that for sure involves the legs. But when it comes to the complex service motion, there are many things happening. So you get power from the swing itself. Now the swing itself does involve rotation. So it's the coiling and uncoiling in conjunction with the racket swinging through the air that creates a tremendous amount of power. And that's why we can easily serve at least 80% of our maximum power without using the bottom portion of our body. Just by swinging the racket through the air and rotating, we can get a tremendous amount of power. Now, if I don't rotate, I stay sideways, I'm still gonna get a tremendous amount of power. So the swing itself, the arm action, the racket going through the air, that swing momentum is responsible for the vast majority of the power on the serve. But here's the thing, if you were to serve just with the arm and a little bit of torso rotation, there's a risk that you can get injured. When you use all power sources together, it's gonna be that effortless power that you want on the serve, and you're not going to feel it at all in the arm. That's exactly what you want. And when it comes to the legs are there to help you load the body properly. And you are not necessarily bending in order for you to jump. It's not a conscious jump on the serve. I've been teaching the passive leg drive for many, many years. And there are hundreds of students that are able to get off the ground on the serve without even thinking about their legs. So they're not intending to jump, but yet they're coming off the ground. That's what the passive leg drive is. Now, don't get me wrong. The legs are absolutely part of the service motion, and the legs are going up, but they're not going up in isolation. So you're not just jumping up. There are many other things happening on the serve. You are cartwheeling. You are also rotating the torso. Depending on the style of your loading position, you also might be straightening your body this way, or you might be straightening your body this way. All that is taking place in conjunction with the legs going up. So the entire system is straightening and going up simultaneously. And it's for that reason that if you try to consciously jump on your serve, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. There's no player out there that consciously jumps, even though they might be telling you that they're jumping. What they're rather doing is they're using their entire body to go up towards the ball. And a knee bend surely helps when it comes to loading the body on the serve. So when you bend your knees and get the heels off the ground, it's going to be a lot easier to get your hip into the court, to bend backwards, and also to coil backwards. If you did that without bending the knees, all these actions become a lot more difficult to execute. And of course, part of that power process is coming from the legs being bent initially and then straightening. There's no doubt about it. So while I retrieve the cone, let me tell you about the value of target practice. So the tennis serve is not all about speed. My serve is not necessarily that fast, relatively speaking, but I'm pretty good at hitting the spots on a good serving day, not on a bad serving day. And how do I manage to hit the spot so well? Well, it's not magic, it's practice. And the best thing that you can do when it comes to getting better directional control on your serve is to do a target practice. So I have a lot of cones here, so let's go through them. There's two on that due side out wide, one for the short slice serve and one for a more flattened out serve going out wide. Then there's the body blaster, and of course we have the two T serves that I'm in love with, that I should be going for a lot less. We got another body blaster, and of course I have two cones set up on the ad side out wide, one a little shorter and one a little deeper. Generally, and that's something that you can't see from here, I have a little bit of distance between the cone and the singles line, because if you put that cone right on the line and you hit the top of the cone, obviously that serve is going out. So it's about a ½ meter inside the singles line on each individual cone. And of course, on the ones that are shorter, they're even further inside. So I'm gonna go through the serve practice. I'll pause the video if I happen to hit a cone. There's no guarantee I might not hit any, and we'll talk afterwards. Tough serve day today. It's gotten a lot windier since I first started, and I've only gotten 2 targets. I went through an entire basket and I even picked up some balls on the other side, so it's too much now. I never want to do more than 1 full basket. This holds 150 balls, so I'm probably including those other serves maybe around 180, and that's enough. I don't really want to serve more than that, and I'm holding myself to a previous standard. Before I could come out here and get all the targets, I've even done videos on this. In a matter of 5, 10, 15 minutes, I get all the targets now. 180 balls, I only hit 2. So I'm not serving anywhere near my best, but it's all good. This is good practice. And next time I come out, I'm going to start on the ad side, because every serve was going on the deuce today. Oh my goodness. Sometimes tennis can be so weird. All right, I got 2 more balls in my pocket. Last 2. Let me try to end on a positive note and get the T one. Okay, that was a good serve. Even though I didn't hit the target, it was still good. That's the great thing about target practice. I did hit a lot of good serves today, even though I'm not necessarily getting the target a lot. All right, last one right here. So bad. Let me do one more. What I find with targets, sometimes you have to get the target out of your mind and just keep it in the back of your mind. Don't obsess on the target, because it can start playing tricks on you. You know where you're going to go. You tell yourself T, and just go there, and don't necessarily think or focus too much on the target. I find that works a lot better in most cases. All right, good enough. Good serve practice. I got a lot of problems to solve on the serve, but none of these problems will be solved unless I come out here and practice.